Greetings and salutations, everybody. Welcome back to another little discussion video. Since the last week have been a fairly busy one with everything happening with PSO2 and New Genesis being announced for the 20th anniversary of PSO2, or more PSO in general. And I have seen a lot of people saying a decent amount of stuff, from other YouTubers to people in comments and people in my own channel and comments as well. And it seemed like a lot of opinions have been being trolled out about what New Genesis could mean, how it could be good, how it could be bad, how it ruined PSO. And I think now is probably about a good time to actually discuss where I fall on the subject, especially now that a lot of information have been put out, not as much as we would like, but a decent amount nonetheless. So I'm going to go ahead and go into some of my thoughts on it and see if any of my opinion going to change as more information comes out, since we only got so much to work with right now. So here is what my opinion of New Genesis PSO2 Phantasy Star Edition thoughts, opinion, whatever you want to call it, a video here on YouTube. And if you enjoyed this, make sure you do the like, favorite, subscribe, hit some bells, let me know in the comments of what is some of your opinions about New Genesis, and let's get into the discussion, shall we? So for anyone who don't know exactly what I'm talking about, pretty much the bare minimum is SEGA ended up announcing a brand new PSO2 game for Xbox Series X, PS5, PS4, Switch, pretty much everything Elites outside of America for the most part. And inside of America, we're getting PC and Xbox One with Series X version. And some people haven't took lightly to it, especially since we just got PSO2 in America. Not even, like 5 months ago at that point? 4 months ago at that point? It haven't been all that long, all things considered. And in return, I have seen opinions saying, like, why should I play PSO2, especially with New Genesis coming soon, and whatnot, and everything in between. And we have seen information describing why you should continue playing PSO2, since all your character data going to carry over except for your levels, but all your attachment, your items, your equipment, what your mags look like, pretty much all that stuff is good to go. And then on top of that, with the currency of AC and Star Gem carrying over, and pretty much as of now, the only thing that's not carrying over is level, meseta, and fun. And honestly, that don't exactly bother me all that much, all things considered. Because let's be honest, the game is a brand new game from the ground up here with new systems and a new progression into the game. So it makes sense for not wanting to carry over that type of stuff at all your level is concerned. But actually keeping your character, I'm more or less happy with that in general. Why I should play PSO2 now instead of waiting for New Genesis. And honestly, it seemed like a very simple answer, which is of course your character. Because let's be honest here, the most important thing I feel about most MMOs is your character and your friendships that you have made inside of the game with the community. And being able to continue playing PSO2, unlocking weapons and outfits and stuff for my character, and then moving into New Genesis, being able to play that stuff with me, and in return have a, not so much a head start, since I'm pretty sure a lot of the new equipment will probably be better in a lot of ways. And then on top of that, we always have information that some weapon from inside PSO2 right now is going to be adjusted to fit, whatever the new game type here or however the system operate in New Genesis. But nonetheless, it's nice being able to get some fairly decent weapons unlocked. So once you start New Genesis, and some of the stuff will be locked behind certain character level. So say you have, totally just example here, say you have like a nemesis weapon, and that weapon's in New Genesis end up being like a level 40 weapon, which in return means you have to get to level 40 to use said weapon. That don't really bother me that much, since at fall, like hitting the ground running will be, instead of having to farm equipment up at certain level progress, you will at least have a bare minimum equipment already unlocked and can be used the second you hit whatever the milestone is to unlock the ability to use it. So in return, that kind of takes some of the farming and some of the irritation of trying to get your character upgraded to whatever level you might be already taken care of, which is a main reason why to continue playing PSO2. And on top of that, we still got over a year at that point, because there's no guarantee that the game fully gonna make 2021 in America, not in county. For all we know, that might be December of 2021. But with that being said, it still, I get it. I get the whole thing of why not just wait and start the game then? Because I know, honestly, equipment and character stuff is not that important to a lot of people. Mainly, it kind of feel like some of the people I have seen is more interested in the level itself. Which I think, honestly, outside of totally understanding where some of these people are coming from, I also kind of feel like it might be one of them cases of people not understanding that just because from what we have seen, like gameplay wise, and the combat look very similar to how it is in PSO2 right now, do not mean that it's literally going to be the exact same inside of New Genesis once the game actually come out. Because as of now, we still don't know the ins and outs of how the combat and the actual mechanic behind, leveling, proton art techniques, all that stuff, we still don't understand. Which, as an example of this, is the whole thing with the mag situation, which you can bring your mag over into New Genesis, but they have stated that mags are not going to actually affect your character stat-wise, which kind of make me question what really the point of mags inside of New Genesis. And that could honestly be said about any part of your character inside of PSO2 when it comes to leveling. Because just because you level your character up to 75 or 90 or, whatever we're going to end up being by the time the second part of episode 6 comes out, it's no guarantee that that would be a one-to-one translation anyway going into New Genesis, which in return kind of makes sense why your character level wouldn't exactly carry over. And then also on top of that, with how much back-end stuff probably getting upgraded here, it probably wouldn't translate all that well to begin with. So overall, the whole level stuff, I understand, but it doesn't really bother me. I could kind of get it if we, in return, get more information and literally the mechanics are identical. Then I will be with everybody else about being disappointed about the level not carrying over. But let's be totally honest, this is a perfect opportunity, especially with them going fairly open zone-ish in the game. We still don't know to what extent. Are we still technically working inside of levels like PSO2 operate now, with a position being distant zones? For all we know, it could be the exact same way. The zones are just way bigger, and no information as of now if every single zone is connected, or is it literally like maybe like take the 3 zones that are usually in any exposition and pretty much just expand that out a little bit and roughly about the same size. The game could literally just be that. We do not know quite yet. But with that being said, ideally, hopefully, it go more the route of every area is connected, except for like traveling to distant planet being like whole separate zones. But we don't know exactly how like leveling gonna function here. Cause for all we know, we might not even have levels going into PSO2. We might end up with something similar to Destiny, for all we know, for like a armor bait system or a light bait system. We just do not know right now. So for me, I just can't get upset about losing my level. And also, for all we know, that there might be a bonus for actually having your character fully leveled in PSO2. Since we do know that you can go in between the games as you see fit, and your progress will, for your character anyway, will transfer between the two. And then, for all we know, as we always have inside PSO right now, which when you hit level 75 on certain classes, or every class, you get a giant stat boost to any job or class you're using. So for all we know, we might have something like that inside New Genesis, where we could easily be like, oh, we see your character is all level 75, every class, 75, 90, whatever the cap will end up being by the end of this. And they could just be like, okay, you got all that stuff, so we're going to go ahead and give you, like, bonuses to your character. Might it be, like, XP gain or, You know, you might unlock a special technique, you know. Obviously, it gotta be more to this to actually have a reason to continue playing between both games beyond the initial beginning of Genesis. Because I can understand at like probably the 4th year of Genesis, especially for players that haven't actually completed every episode or got like the highest, you know, tier list of equipment, and they don't have that or just not in PSO Genesis. I can understand a reason to go back, play PSO2, get the stuff, and then transfer it into New Genesis. But let's be honest here, after a amount of time, roughly probably about a year or so, if not a couple months after the fact, why would you go back and play PSO2? You know, it seemed like one of them cases of you do all your grinding inside PSO2, move into New Genesis with all the best equipment that inside the base game, and hit the ground running. Which, at that point, I could see, you know, not to the point of PSO2 just straight up dying and New Genesis becoming the new standard, but I could see a decent amount of the player base just kind of fall off, especially if you are into that type of gameplay of getting the best of the best and then you get it all. Why would you go back? And the main reason why a lot of people stop playing PSO and other MMOs in general. So that could be the case going into New Genesis. And also, since PSO2 actually going to get an upgrade roughly around the same time of New Genesis, with a new graphical style and whatnot, when Part 2, Episode 6 comes out and this new graphical engine get added to PSO2, there might be something there as well that could lead into the new gameplay. So who knows, maybe levels are just going to go the way of the dodo inside of PSO2. And the leveling will be the same way in New Genesis. So it's a good chance, for all we know, that you could be playing PSO2 and progressing your character in a way beyond items and equipment, and actually have it affect your character, like, I get level progress in whatever way the game's gonna operate when New Genesis comes out. There is still a lot of unknowns about New Genesis and what gonna exactly happen with PSO2 beyond the whole they both gonna exist at the same time type of deal. It's just not enough information as of now to fully go into conspiracy theories. I do gotta say, there is still plenty of reason to play PSO. And then on top of that, we still got 1-2 with a possibility of 2+ shields before New Genesis actually come out. Because like I have stated, because they say 2021, don't mean it's going to be 2021. Let's be honest, look at Cyberpunk if you want an example of how all over the place that delay can end up happening with inside of a game. And on top of that, there is still so much content to come in PSO2. And not like your character gonna go totally to wait, because why are you playing PSO for the most player? Let me know in the comment what are your reason for playing PSO2. But I know for a lot of people, the reason to play PSO2 is of course, like at the end of the day, is about getting high level loot, getting fashion stuff, getting just item for your character unlocked, not so much for leveling. Because let's be totally honest, leveling inside PSO is not all that difficult to begin with. And as we get farther into more JP episodes, it's just going to become any more easier as we go. So using the argument of don't want to play a PSO2 right now because New Genesis is coming, you got time, and at the end of the day, it's not really going to matter all that much. At least that is my opinion at the moment about this. Like I said, my opinion could change when we get farther into more information. We start getting into like the super nitty gritty stuff. But let's be totally honest, we are probably not going to get all that much from a New Genesis till we actually get closer to the end of the year into next year. Especially if the roadmap for North American PSO2 ends up going the way they have been describing it, without being caught up to JP before the end of the year. And honestly, a 1.5 to 2 years is still a long time to play PSO2, and still a lot of enjoyment you can get from it. And then on top of that, it's not like PSO2 going to go anywhere, since we do know the game going to continue happening any after New Genesis. And let's be honest, if you have played any MMO that ever had sequels, you know that usually, no matter if the company do want to move every player to the new game, the majority of players are not going to do that. Like, go look at EverQuest or Final Fantasy 11 to 14, and like, you will see examples of this, being a thing. Because let's be honest, there are people that enjoy the more Diablo style, like zone baits, fighting enemy for loot, and not so much open world, like whatever Genesis gonna end up being beyond that. So there is still plenty of reason to play. Honestly, if you are not playing PSO2 just because of New Genesis and you have already began playing PSO2, there is no reason to stop. If you enjoy the game, keep playing the game, because at the end of the day, what you're doing will matter leading into New Genesis. If you haven't already started playing PSO2, you know it's a good time to play it. It's great. PSO2 is a fantastic MMO. But if you do want to wait for New Genesis and you don't really care about the ins and outs of getting equipment or decorating your character, I understand. But yeah, just wait for New Genesis, because Elite, when New Genesis come, ideally we will be one-to-one with Japan, and hopefully the game itself can move as a global community instead of the very quickly catch up that North America is doing right now. But that is just my opinions about New Genesis for PSO2, and why you should still be playing Phantasy Star 2 if New Genesis is literally a year plus out. And yeah, with that, let me know your opinion below in the comment. I'd be interested to see some of this. We will, continue the discussion into hopefully more information. If not, we got episode 4 coming literally around the corner inside PSO2, with episode 5 and 6 and part 2 of 6 coming hopefully by the end of the year, leading into the beginning of next. And with that, if you enjoyed this, do the like, favorite, subscribe, hit some bells, you know what to do, and I will see you all in the comments.